time we move on.
Okay.
Seeing as we talk about fitness so much, why don't we go ahead and just talk about fitness?
That's new. Yeah, all right.
I think we should talk about it in a different way, though. Kind of
Talk about it in Spanish.
Espanol, sí, señor. Que Paco es. I didn't take Spanish. I took German. I can do a little.
I believe it's Llamo Taco Bell. Is what you want to say?
This is what that'd be. My name is Taco Bell.
Me llamo
Taco Bell.
Okay.
So, one thing you wish you knew when you first started that you know now? Like, what is one piece of advice you'd give to any person just starting out lifting, whether they're trying to become like the next Phil Heath or just trying to get a healthier lifestyle?
Who's Phil Heath?
He won the past Olympia.
So he's strong.
Big dude, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not small.
Should I have gone with like Arnold?
Oh, I know him.
Oh, that guy.
Oh yeah.
So what's the question?
One piece of advice.
Like what? Yeah.
That you know now that
What do you
would
think?
give impart upon somebody that's just starting?
Well, because John required to make sure we said it. CrossFit is definitely the one thing he said. Make sure everyone mentioned it at least once.
Don't do CrossFit.
Oh wait.
7 days a
No,
week too.
that's what it is. There's something like that.
Maybe twice a day. Who knows?
I mean, I think the most important thing is that you enjoy it. That's the only thing that really matters. Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting on the couch and someone's telling you to lift weights and you don't like lifting weights because you're stupid, then that's fine. Just don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. But really, in all seriousness, I mean, if you're going to go and you really love jogging, and that's your thing, and you can motivate yourself to do that, and you can't motivate yourself to do other things, then go jog.
Well, what about the person who's doing it because they have to, not necessarily because they want to? Like their dog told them, like if you don't lose weight, you're gonna die. So they may not necessarily want to or even enjoy it at first, but
Eliminate wheat.
Oh wait,
That's one of the best
that's
ways,
the next
man.
part. That's the next part.
Wait.
Damn it.
Let's roll it back to what Mike was talking about here. I mean, if you're required to do it, fine. Everybody's required to do certain things in their life, generally speaking. Required. I don't want to get into like a philosophical debate with Steve, but
What's really required?
thank you.
What do you really have to do? You don't have to do anything.
You just exist.
Not even that.
Should have mentioned it. So, but I guess the point is that everyone has things that they have to do. If exercise is something you have to do, then once you start doing it, you rarely say people like, oh man, I exercised today and I regret it so bad.
That's true.
No one ever regrets going to the gym.
Unless they do something really stupid.
Unless you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid.
All right. Well, maybe I should rephrase the question.
Okay.
Then. How would you?
High interval training versus jogging. I would say that's something I didn't know
There you go.
Steve switched me on to high interval intensity training. Is it HIIT?
High intensity interval training.
High intensity interval training, and I run.
Compared to
I
steady
run and
state,
bike less than I ever have, but I just do that.
body
and I
feel
weigh-
better.
And I weigh less. My body feels better, and it's better for your heart. Everything.
Yep.
Hormones.
Yeah.
Everything.
Some like 10 minutes, I'm making up these
It's
statistics.
like 10
that I don't
minutes to
remember.
an hour almost.
Yeah, 10 minutes of high intensity interval
But-
training is like at least an hour of long distance running, and you still get.
And you don't wreck your hormones, you enhance them by doing that.
But the key with it is, as Pavel says, is like if you're doing 5 hill sprints, you should barely even be able to get to the 5th. Or
Yeah.
like you think you're gonna die. Because when I
Yeah.
first started doing it, I definitely wasn't pushing myself to the edge. Now
Once you do, it's
now
unreal.
like if I do it on the bike, I can't make it to 5 and my legs are destroyed the next day.
Yep.
Now, is that because you're a big fatty, or because it's?
It's because I'm using my cock to go on the pedals.
Oh, that makes it tougher. Yeah.
Huh.
So, variety is another thing. that I think is important to an exercise
Okay.
program, in my
Thank you
opinion.
for playing along now.
Yeah. And then the only other thing is personal opinion and scientific opinion. Resistance training is an important thing to have in some way.
Yep, some sort of resistance.
What do you define as resistance? Is it weights or like the belts?
No, not necessarily. Anything that subjects your muscles to resistance. Your
Yeah,
muscles
even
and
like an
bones.
isometric
Yeah.
push will strengthen your muscles.
Like a push-up?
Yeah.
No, we're like going up to against the wall and just trying to push the wall away
Yeah,
from you.
that's
Obviously, it's not
resistance.
going to move, but
So some like
about a plank?
Pilates could be resistance training. Some forms of yoga can be resistance training because it's subjecting your vessel to resistance.
Running with a parachute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw those today.
Yeah.
which is
Marcus saw
badass
that
for conditioning.
Wait,
Those are badass.
Where did you see?
in a catalog.
We're looking at some stuff to order from China. Get samples of
Very nice.
Do you look at the conditioning parachutes? Those are
Yeah.
so cool. How would you, Stevie? What would you say, dude?
If you're lifting, don't forget to work your legs.
Oh,
Because-
never skip leg day.
Yeah, I skip leg day always, and like I noticed a big change in terms of like overall muscle mass and fat loss and like hormonal environment. My legs never were small, but I just noticed a big overall difference, and I felt more powerful. Because the legs, they're huge muscles.
Oh yeah.
If you ever need convincing, just Google never skip leg day. Guarantee you'll feel convinced immediately.
What about you, John? You got any insights here?
Me?
Yeah, dude.
Have you heard of fitness?
Dude, I don't even lift, bro. I would say the one thing that I not recommend, I would tell anybody, like, learn how your body's supposed to work before you even attempt to start lifting. Like, just know the basic functions. Feel your muscles the way they're supposed to move. Know what your full range of motion is, what a full contraction feels like. Because otherwise, you're going to be like all these idiots I see at the gym who are throwing their weight around and swinging and flopping.
Yeah,
and,
like Pavel says, putting fitness on top of dysfunction.
yeah.
So wait, how do you learn how your body moves? Can you give us
Especially
some
if
tips?
especially if so many people don't have a clue because of the way society functions now.
Like isometric contractions.
Elaborate on what that means.
Like we were saying with against the wall.
Okay.
Like you go up and try to push the wall away from you.
And so how does that benefit you? Just get like knowing how your body works?
Because you're going to be pushing, so you're going to start getting blood flow in there, and you're going to
Yeah, or just
you'll be able to
planking.
start narrowing it down. And the biggest thing is,
Or
and
just
actually they
planking.
say skinnier people have an easier time with this, having to feel for their muscles. But it's one of those you kind of have to progress.
Oh, that's also a sleeping technique. That's one of the ones when I was doing research is what's that technique where you're lying in bed and you feel each
You just work your way down, you squeeze like as hard as you can,
Is it
and
the
relax.
feeling or the squeezing one?
the squeezing.
Yeah, it's
similar-
named after some doctor. I
Yeah,
forgot
and
his
you
name.
get in touch with you make
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
you like and then let go.
I've noticed if you're working out with like a partner, say if it's for like scapular retraction, having them put their finger between your shoulder blades will help activate the traps if you're working out. And one of my favorites, weed.
what does that help with?
Becoming
It
hyper
helps you
aware.
become, yeah, you're more aware,
Oh,
so
of
you
your
feel
muscles.
better, and stretching and flexing feels great. So this is why Arnold was so great.
But
I'm
so-
gonna guarantee it, because in pumping iron, you see him high as shit.
Yep.
Not only does it relax you, so cortisol goes down. It makes you want to eat a lot, so bulking is made easy. You can work out for hours, and you can feel like the muscles like every muscle fiber contract.
I could see
So you
that.
keep it
like,
so tight, and like your form just becomes, and you slow down. You're not in a rush. You're not like eager to get to that next set. You'll like give your body that extra minute if you're doing a super heavy day or.
For sure.
Because it's that perspective of just like teleporting into your body, like, I'm going to give this vessel a test run.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think the four of us happen to have an interest in it, so we've all probably done a significant amount of research. But where would you, like, if you were to say go start, would you say talk to some random PT at a gym, or would you say start with a certain program on the internet, or like reading about XYZ, reading a book, anywhere where you would suggest to start?
I would say stay away from people at the gym. Even the trainers, some of the basic certs aren't really shit, and
Okay.
I've seen some dumbass people having some people do some shit they shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anybody can be a trainer. You don't have to know what you're doing. Stay away from, and this is one thing that pisses me off, high school coaches. A lot of them just teach the worst form, and they're like strength and conditioning, and they have no background in strength or conditioning. And you have these people who end up fucked up the rest of their lives because, you know, you're taught to believe coach is like God and everything he says is right, so you're going to do it no matter what.
Yes, coach.
Yeah, exactly. You get that mentality, so I'd stay away from that.
Okay.
Books, I'd read something on biomechanics.
Any suggestions?
I'd Amazon it, whatever comes up. It's more textbooks
So
for that.
Evolutionary biology stuff's good too.
Yeah, but even that might get a little too.
for people just starting out, I mean, this is just what helped me because I really had no clue going into lifting and like understanding compound lifts and stuff. If you like books, starting strength is very, very good, and then
anything by Pavel. I started reading Pavel Tsatsouline, his books.
Okay.
Got into him after Tim Ferriss episode.
Yeah, he's
Do you know
really
any
good
of
with
his books
structure
off the top of your head?
Huh?
Names of his books off the top of your head?
Yeah, there's
What about Paul Check? Too advanced?
Paul Check's way out there.
All right. So
Here's what you do. You go to YouTube, you watch a couple videos, you go with a partner, you have them videotape you. And essentially, you work your way down. You read as much as you can. You say, oh, I need to fix this. Watch as many videos as you can. And seriously, that's the only way you're going to teach yourself. Otherwise, your best bet is hiring someone, going to
who
a
knows?
strength coach, whether it's powerlifting or, you know.
Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah, you could do it for years and not get it right. Like, I'm still fine-tuning every day. I practice, like, if I'm standing around, I'll just start doing squats just like to get the feel for it. Like make sure everything's engaged.
And then, if I may jump in, one other thing that I found the most interesting and probably actually the most helpful, if you like internet sites, which you know everyone does, Strong Lifts 5x5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you don't want to follow the program, just the technique tips that are provided on there are just really helpful because they're quick, they're simple, and they're very, very helpful. So, I mean, especially, I should say that I've specifically gotten a lot of help from that site on back squats and deadlifts, which are probably the two most important and two of the more
fucked up,
complex. Yeah, I mean, I had no idea how badly I was screwing up my squats when I first started.
Yeah.
And deadlifts, I mean, I'm really lucky that I didn't injure myself, you know? And so it just helps. As you said, I'm still to this day, and I've been tweaking my back squat for at least 2 years now, still definitely not perfect form, you know, if there is ever such a thing as perfect form. But I think the point is finding good sources of information and continuing to tweak your form. And having, like just the other day, I had Marcus video not only my back squat, but my deadlift from the side. It was very helpful to sort of see. I was like, oh, I'm coming forward a little bit when I lift on my deadlift, that sort of thing. So I think videoing from the side and finding a good source of information. I like starting strength and strong lifts, but that's just me.
And another thing, take your time, get to know your body, like the feel. Like if you start getting tight, chances are the antagonist isn't doing enough work. So like for your squats, you're curling your ass out, you're taking it out of your hamstrings, or your hip flexors start getting wicked tight because of that. Your abs are weakened and you know.
And then
really,
I will just say along those same lines, I also am a prime example of don't be cocky and
keep the ego at home. Yeah.
Keep it at home. Like who cares what anyone else at the gym is doing? Like I was stupidly thinking, oh, well, I played soccer, so I must have strong enough leg muscles to do super heavy squats without knowing anything about technique, and I can use a Smith machine. And then I messed up my back. So I guess the point is, do a little bit of research, start with just the bar and then work your way up.
Was that your tryout for CrossFit?
No.
That's how you got accepted?
No.
Heard his
No,
name on the
they'll
Smith
take anyone with
machine.
money,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
But yeah, no, I used the Smith machine and messed up my back pretty nice because I just had no idea what I was doing at all. And used a lot of weight.
Stevie,
Stevia.
what are you doing for a workout program? What would you say is the most important part of a workout program? Or do you even not recommend following one at all?
The most important part
Hmm.
is scheduling rest into it.
Mm-hmm. Recovery.
I like that.
So it's scheduling your workouts throughout the week so you get adequate recovery. So you can constantly improve.
This is very holistic from what you were saying earlier about not burning out.
Book on Paul Check. You can't really schedule when you're going to need rest, right?
That's true
You're
too.
going to have to listen to your body.
You also have to be in tune to know when you
Exactly.
need the rest.
That's good. I like that.
You guys can't copy, so come up with your own.
No, I'm going to. Yeah.
What was the question now?
Yeah, what would you say the most important aspect of a workout program is? Or do you even recommend following one?
I like variety. I mean, that is one of the things I liked about CrossFit. It was always different. I didn't know what I was going to get when I showed up. So lack of routine to me.
But with that, you're never going to progress that far in any particular thing.
So you're,
No, they certain things were standard. So you definitely were doing squats, focus 1 month or different. I mean,
Deadlifts.
there's
power
core,
cleans.
core powerlifting stuff was, but I'm still not 100% even. So like I like deadlifting. I don't like squats. They make me tired. They kick my ass.
They're awesome.
That's because they're awesome. I hate doing them. I feel really good afterwards, though.
But I still have part of me is in the camp of Katie Bowman, where if you're doing functional movement all the time and lifting some stuff naturally in your environment, and even like a thing from Wheat Belly, they talk about like women in the 50s, like it used to be considered, women never exercised. Like going up the steps to vacuum was like the most, and they were all way skinnier than today's society's women.
Yeah.
And hence, like you introduced Frankenwheat to people's diet, but like people look at old pictures, not even that old, of family and so forth from 80 years ago, 50 years ago, they're not all fat. And look at all the women that are out running now.
Yeah, that's all.
Like,
food.
people weren't all with diabetes and obese and bodies somehow made it by.
But with your point about like the resistance training and that stuff, there's just living and then there's completely thriving and optimizing. So I believe like, yeah, you might not need to lift weights or to do advanced bodyweight exercises to be a fully functional human. But to optimize the human potential, you do need to subject it to additional resistance.
To what goal? The goals are different.
Exactly.
Like I think body weight stuff.
Yeah.
I can have a cut up badass body from doing body weight and farmer's carries and some deadlifting. I don't necessarily have to do like cleans and all this, pull ups.
How many people do all that shit anyways?
No, that's I just think, and having a better diet as well.
Yeah, that's key for
That's
fat loss.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's later anyways, so.
We'll get into that.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Questions came out so late today.
So which
Oh, there was one time when he
So which question are we talking about right now?
Important. What would you say the most important part of
A fitness routine?
or would you not recommend?
That's actually what I already talked about. So, resistance training, happiness and enjoyment, and variety. So, that's my answer.
Boom.
Cool.
So, next game?
Yeah, we kind of segued into
Yeah,
this
no,
already.
we're already going naturally
Oh,
into it.
that I can go into.
Nutrition.
So, where do people go wrong when it comes to achieving their fitness goals? I actually think the number one thing, and this is probably the most important thing I've ever said, don't hire John Coakley as your physical trainer ever.
Wow.
I'm
What
just
an
kidding.
ass.
No, this guy knows his shit. I'm just kidding. I think actually people thinking that they can out-train a bad diet.
Yep.
I mean, as you guys were saying, you can be running marathons. If you still eat like crap, you're gonna look like shit. I mean, you're probably not gonna run a marathon if you eat like crap, but I'm just saying.
Actually, in the book, I learned that like 40% of people that do triathlons are obese.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So even though they train to do triathlons.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because running
Oh,
makes you
does
fat.
No, that's also the
The
swimming.
BMI. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. I mean, I think the point is, you know, I have been trying to get stronger for years now, and you know, I've had reasonable success. But I've noticed that if I actually focus and really concentrate on my diet, so if I'm trying to bulk, making sure I'm actually eating a ton of food, reasonably healthy food, I get way better results than if I'm just lifting and not paying attention to diet. And I mean, you know, it was unfortunate when I didn't realize that because I was spending all of this effort and time to be lifting and doing, you know, just trying to get stronger and not paying attention to my diet, and I wasn't having any of them gains, you know. And so I guess the point is, if you're trying to lose weight, focusing on diet. If you're trying to gain weight, focusing on diet. I mean, no matter what you're doing physically, you're not going to out-train a bad diet.
Mm-hmm.
So then what would you consider a good diet? And your
I would say nutrient-dense foods are key for any diet, no matter what you're doing, whether you're gaining or losing. And then I think as far as, you know, what foods to eat, the simplest way to put it, and I got this one from a Sean Stevenson podcast actually, is basically if you can find it in nature. If that food can be found naturally.
so red number 9, I can definitely have that.
What's that?
I said red number 9 I can have.
No.
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 Well, avoid things with like cartoon characters, logos, and like
Anything with a commercial, avoid. And then another one is just eat real food.
Okay,
Sure.
so you can eat meats, you can eat vegetables, those are found in nature. You know, high fructose corn syrup is not found in nature.
Are you
Really?
sure about that one?
Partially hydrogenated soybean
I'd
oil.
like,
see
I'd
the
like to
trees
see your
outside?
source.
I will show you a source that shows you that high fructose corn syrup is not found in nature. if you want me to.
Interesting.
And you reminded me of the Jack LaLanne quote: "If man made it, don't eat it."
There you go. Yeah.
Well, another wheat belly fact, but like cereal, it's like 5 cents is the actual cost of the ingredients.
Dirt.
You're paying like $4 for all the marketing and corporate profit margins, basically.
Bastards.
Quite the markup.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie P. Sure, you got something.
Oh yeah. Where do people go wrong? I said low fat and running. So that's actually we're kind of shifting out of that low fat movement finally. So that's good to see. But that was always the prescription for people. Oh, you're obese. Eat low fat and
It's
run.
a good way to destroy your hormones,
Yep.
making
That's
everything worse.
that's hormone wrecking 101. Doing those
8
things.
to 10 servings of whole grains and wheat every
Yeah.
day. That's food
You're
pyramid.
such a weak kick.
Yeah. Well, when you're reading something, it's always top of mind. But I just want to jump in real quick. I'm sorry.
Go.
One thing that I just remembered that I saw on the internet one time. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. But yeah, the internet.
Oh,
yeah.
the
It's this thing.
internet.
It's really neat.
How do you get to it?
Yeah. I'll tell you later. So the one of the most interesting like pictures was, you know, think about whether you want to be a long distance runner or a sprinter. And this is specifically geared towards like men, I'll admit, but I think it's still applicable to
There's
women.
one for women too.
But I guess the point is, if you look at a picture of like an Olympic winning marathoner and an Olympic sprinter,
Obviously.
look at what they look like. Which one looks healthier to you? One of them looks like they're famished and just came out of a third world country. The other one looks like they are an actual Olympian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a prototypical Olympian like
Right.
statue.
Muscles.
Yeah.
Like a Greek god.
Yeah.
So I guess the point is, you know, there's a reason for that.
I always show people that picture, by the way.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Always.
It's hilarious and impactful.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, I'm done.
Marcus?
I thought Steve was on point, but eliminate wheat. for most people. Yeah, I mean, just that wheat belly book is open, and I already had read some of Grain Brain, but the number of fucked up effects the current Frankenwheat has on the human body and mind and migraines, like on and on. Like, there's even some stuff for like, studies that were done in the 50s and they've updated with schizophrenics and so forth.
Yeah, I've seen that on PubMed.
They actually take away the take out the wheat from the diet, and whoa, people stop like being psychotic. And there is actually, I mean, it's different levels, but the current wheat that we eat is not the wheat of the Bible. It's messed up
So
stuff.
I could get that Ezekiel.
You piqued my interest. What did you read on PubMed?
Oh, but schizophrenia.
Same study?
There's some
Yeah,
older
it
ones and there's
referenced-
some updated ones.
referenced
They don't
it, I
allow it to humans anymore, but that's why like there were a lot of studies back when everybody was getting lobotomies and other stuff where they would, doctors were allowed to not have the patient's consent. And so different doctors actually did say, well, let's see what happens when they don't eat this or don't eat that. And I forget what initially got them on that track, but it was repeated a few times and dramatic impacts
That's crazy.
on different mental patients when you took modern wheat out of the diet.
Because modern wheat has been genetically modified
Oh,
so much.
beyond like typical GMO stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
That's
the
why
point
it's
you raise.
that's why it's a completely different breed.
You might as well to call it wheat is like a complete bastardization.
Yeah.
It's not even a chromosome difference. It's like 10 chromosomes away.
Yeah.
And they basically did gamma rays and extra all sort of intentional shit to fuck it up. And then there were so many
fuck
other
up the DNA
mutations.
sequence.
And now there is some regulation around like GMO, and that you should actually test it on humans a little bit before you release it to the marketplace. But back when they did it with wheat, and you really can't blame farmers, they talk about. It's like, and all these places that took it on are like, well, it's a shorter growing season with this stuff,
Yeah.
it yields more, all that, so it was great for farmers. But look at the data for humans.
And I wonder if like all that mutation that they induced somehow makes it like very unstable for when we consume it. That it somehow alters our genetic structure in some way because it's that unstable. It's just complete speculation, but maybe that's part of it.
It doesn't seem that devious, but I mean, even the author's got thousands of patients who he's made better and like really went to do all the studies and the genetic stuff. He says, because he talks about like even the Diabetes Association, all these government related associations and bodies all tell people, even though all the evidence has been stacking up and there was evidence before, keep eating grain because it's the biggest crop. And then corn is number 2, which is
everything's
gluten-free and
yeah.
cornstarch stuff. It actually has even a higher glycemic level than wheat.
Yeah.
So that's my soapbox.
All right.
Well, I think that covers about everything.
Well,
Is
do
that
you
the
guys have
last
any?
question?
Not a strong
Do you
finish.
guys have any thoughts
Yeah,
on
you guys-
supplementation, perhaps?
Oh yeah, I forgot I put that on there.
I was trying to cover for you, and you
Now,
totally
now,
blew it.
what does weed do to short-term memory?
Speaking of supplementation,
What does it do to short-term memory?
It enhances it greatly.
It makes it pretty good.
It's science.
I've gotten better at losing my train of thought. There.
So supplements. I have found very rarely do supplements actually make any significant difference.
On it. Go to on it.
I don't have an affiliate agreement.
Oh, never mind.
Unless you're already not eating properly. So,
Which is
my
most people in the modern day.
opinion, based on my research, is that fish oil can be beneficial as a supplement. And I like what I'm doing right now, and I'm biased because it's what I'm doing, but what I like to call a 1/3 multivitamin. So it's multivitamin I'm supposed to be taking 3 times a day to get my daily allowance, and I just take one of them because...
Do you buy like a cheap one, or do you actually spend a little money on?
No, like it's optimum nutrition. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I get a multivitamin that's basically supposed to be 1/3 of your daily value or whatever. And then the rest of it, I just try to eat as healthy as possible. So
Do you
if
like
I
a
ate
mineral
a
source?
what's that?
Like a mineral,
Yeah.
multi-mineral too,
Yeah.
as well. Or?
Well, I mean, I think it's got some minerals in it, but I don't do a separate multi-mineral. And then, generally speaking, I do my best to eat healthy. So I acknowledge that I definitely do not eat a perfect diet, but I do my best. And so this is sort of like a just in case I miss something, and maybe I get a little extra and pee it out, you know. So that's what I do as far as supplementation.
That's
Other than
funny. My view is pretty much the exact same as yours. And like I do fish oil and either greens powder or some quality multivitamin
Yeah.
from actual food sources.
But those green powders have a lot of stuff in them. And vitamin K is one that a lot of people miss in their diets that
Yeah.
you get through like the
Fat
green.
soluble.
Yeah. So those are the only two things that I consistently supplement with.
But to your guys' point, though, I think there's something to it. With fish oil, it should be quality, high quality. There's
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
you don't
of-
want that like CVS fish oil.
Yeah, there's so much bogus bad shit out there that they
Yeah.
market as
And
fish oil. Same with probiotics. You got to spend the coin on getting the right stuff.
Yeah, and with fish oil it goes rancid pretty easily, so that's another part of it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I actually tried taking fish oil like 10, 15 years ago from a friend of mine who had a company. I should have known because it was network marketing. So he had people selling fish oil and stuff too. And he was doing very well with it. But he's like, yeah, try some. And I like got a fucking boil on my neck. I had never had
sounds
a boil. Like, I was like, I don't think this is for me. like Quasimodo.
All right.
I'm serious, man. Yeah, I've never had a boil on my cock.
So John, supplements, thoughts?
Supplements. I take protein. I have protein. On it. I mean,
Hemp protein.
I have protein. And I put hemp oil in it too for fat.
Yeah.
Ooh, double hemp.
Hemp vapors, yeah.
Just hemp all around. I don't really take much for supplementation. I like what Paul Chek has to say about it though. And he has people use supplementation to get their body back to even keel, and then as they do that, wean themselves off. You know, a lot of people are in a state where supplements, of course, you have to get high quality supplement from a reputable source, but yeah, a lot of people could definitely benefit from using some supplements.
Any
Probiotics,
oh, okay.
greens for the oxidation
Yeah.
purposes,
Nutritional insurance.
MSM powder helps.
Sounds good stuff.
But, I mean, you also have to be willing to eat the right diet, too, because if you're not eating healthy or treating your body right, then you're just kind of doing all this extra shit in vain.
Well, vitamin D in the winter, kind of left off for those of us in colder climates, but also
Maybe you shouldn't be a bitch and go outside. Jam!
Space Jam. Sorry. All right.
and Steve's NAC and vitamin C for big nights out. Those can be good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I actually was very skeptical. I have to admit, I was skeptical. But when you indulge in a little bit excess of fun poison, hypothetically speaking, if one were to do that, the N-acetylcysteine actually does help significantly to avoid hangovers.
Yeah, the combination of N-acetylcysteine and vitamin C.
But
Take a few of those throughout the night, no hangover.
be forewarned, it also fucks up my sleep a little because I have super vivid dreams, and it's really weird.
That sounds pretty awesome. That doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah.
Same with valerian for getting to sleep. Valerian and melatonin. Wild dreams.
So the one question I really don't want to miss because I thought it was the most interesting of all of them is the last one, which, as you know, is tips on how to eat a healthier diet on a budget. Because people are always asking this constantly all over the place. I think it's really interesting. Anyone else want to start? Steve loves it.
Yep. So this is what I did when I first moved to New York City, when I was basically paying as much for rent as I was making. So I really didn't have that much money to spend on groceries. So basically what I ate was sardines, eggs, and a lot of vegetables.
There you go.
So like,
Quality vegetables, organic.
yeah. And like, because the main protein sources I bought were sardines, which I bought online. I think I bought them through Amazon. So I found like whatever the good quality one was, wild caught, bought like 12 or 24 packs of that, way cheaper than you could get in the store. And then at the store, I would shop at Whole Foods and just buy mostly eggs and then vegetables. And if you're only buying eggs and vegetables, like it's not gonna cost that much. You could get, like, I was spending like $45 a week on groceries, just mainly focusing on eggs and vegetables. So I would make different omelets, different quiches at night, because vegetables aren't that expensive, even if you are getting organic ones. You know, $5 worth of organic broccoli is gonna be like that much. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on this.
Yeah.
Or $45.
And 2 cents.
Yeah, something like that.
Marcus.
Try to have an expense account when you buy things.
Okay, my turn.
Good advice.
All right, so I think it's a great question because it's really challenging. I think I'll have some disagreement here, but as far as eating healthy and also not spending a lot of money, oats, eggs, spinach, and any other, whatever's the cheapest dark leafy green, it doesn't even matter.
Kale, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Fruits, I found that apples and bananas tend to be the cheapest. Apples are probably a little healthier if you had to pick one or the other. Yeah. And then avocado's not cheap, but it's got a half decent amount of.
Too bad, yeah.
It's not crazy, and for the amount of calories you get per dollar, it's actually half decent. And sweet potatoes are certainly, inexpensive for the amount of satiety you get. And then as far as meats, I mean, this one's actually kind of tough because you want to get decent quality meat, and it's very challenging. If you're able to find something that's, antibiotic-free chicken that's not super expensive, I think I've seen it for not too bad at Trader Joe's sort of thing, where you can get like some chicken thighs that are antibiotic-free and cage-free and all that. But
I just go for roadkill.
yeah, if you hunt, that's the best way to do it.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Hunting, but-
yeah.
But for those of us that don't, which is probably the vast majority,
Unfortunately.
I know, I'd love to, but we digress. The other thing, if you can get grass-fed beef at any kind of decent price, go for it. I mean, I actually think that's one of the things that's probably worth splurging on, even if you're on a budget. Lentils are another good option, but quinoa, and that's pretty much my list.
No, I totally agree. I'd say get a slow cooker, so that way you can buy that cheaper piece of meat, and it'll still come out delicious. But if you buy a cheaper piece of meat, you should still try to get the
With that
grass-fed.
Meat is the one thing you don't want to skip out on.
I don't mean cheap as in like get fucking rump roast from like a F-class farm, but I mean you don't have to get filet mignon.
Oh yeah, you could just get.
You can
ground-
get like a less
Like
tender
fat.
area.
Yeah, fatness is a good thing. That's actually. But when you say slow cooker, is the temperature lower, and it just takes longer?
Yeah,
when
like
you
a
slow
crock
cook?
pot.
Yeah.
I don't cook, so
Oh,
I'm curious.
yeah,
but
they have settings for like 4 hours, 6, 10,
And it's
12.
like you literally can throw a whole roast, or a whole chicken or something,
And
into
whatever
it,
vegetables
put
you
some
have.
like vegetables,
and it
and like you just put it
peel
on
it
for 8
apart
hours
with a
and
fork.
leave for the day.
that sounds awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And keep it simple. Don't try to go too complex with your dishes and stuff. If you eat healthy, I mean, it's going to be pretty flavorful anyways. You don't need a lot of extra stuff. The salad, put a little meat on top of it, get a fat source to go with it. You're good. Maybe
That's
sweet
why
potato.
the lower quality cuts I was reading are actually better for you. That have the fat mixed in to like cows and so forth. Like
Well,
instead of getting just like the
Hormones get like stored in fat
really.
and antibiotics.
Well, yeah, if it's bad meat,
Oh yeah.
you shouldn't get that to begin with.
Yeah, you should always be getting grass-fed.
Well,
Or like
right.
when you buy chicken, go buy a whole chicken raw, which I've done. I think it was for a crock pot. It was like $15, and it was like a third smaller easily than most of the like Purdue and
Oh,
other
yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like what?
They're like fucking Godzilla.
Yeah, 'cause it's not pumped up.
Oh,
Steroid
crap.
Have you ever seen the pictures of the cows on bovine growth hormone? They're like udders are like just like yeah, it's
Yeah.
nasty.
But to also to Mike said new though about, and this is a Sean Stevenson one, is with vegetable quality, why you want to try to get truly organic, because he was talking about eating different GM. You're basically eating sterile fruit and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Like think about it, when there's no seeds in a grape or no seeds in an orange.
Yeah, that's
Or
not
a
right.
banana. Have you ever
Banana.
looked what like
A
bananas
real
are
banana.
naturally
That's,
look
yeah,
like?
he was saying it's like you're eating sterile food.
Yeah.
And you wonder
That's why
why
I've cut bananas out.
population's becoming sterile. You're eating not something's not real.
That's true.
I do love fruit. I got this new kind of mango. It's not a new kind of mango. A new mango to me. I'd never tried it or heard of it before. It was so good.
Alfonso mangoes. People,
Yeah.
are the best mangoes.
It was so good.
From India. That in Australia. But usually they don't even come to this country.
Yeah, the first
really
time I've
hard.
seen them.
Huh.
A-Market's got them.
Really?
Yeah.
Alfonso mangoes.
Pretty sure that was the one.
So you remember how we were
Or
talking
more
about strong close to the podcast?
Yeah.
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 Talking about random mangoes, probably the best way to close.
Definitely.
Mangoes are the shit.
I do love mango.
Well, Earthlings, we would appreciate reviews on iTunes, info at Lifehack Advisors. If you need some strongman strength training, John Coakley's your man. And if you need some Soswickian tremors, planks, yoga moves, Steve is your man.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook
Yeah,
Ooh.
that too.
Who the
or
hell knows?
Twitter.
Lifehack Advisors. Peace.